Hi ladies, it's Mr. O'Sullivan. Today we're going to be learning about how to graph these special cases. So over the past 2 days we've been learning how to graph linear functions in the form y equals mx plus b. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be graphing lines that look like so forth. So there's this trick we're going to use called HOYVUX. So before we get into that, let's go over today's learning target is I can construct a graph of a line that is in the form of y equals number and x equals a number. So the first case we're going to look at is the horizontal line. So if you look at this image, horizontal lines go across your page from left to right. If we look at this graph, I have 2 points on my line, -3, 3, and 2, 3. The first thing I want to do is find the slope of those lines, because I know equations are written in the form y equals mx plus b. So I know my points are -3, 3, and 2, 3, so I'm going to rewrite those. So -3, 3, and 2, 3. I'm going to find the slope by using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. My second y value is a 3. So I have my slope is equal to 3 minus my first y value of a 3 over my second x value of a 2, take away my first x value of a -3. When I do 3 minus 3, I get 0. When I get 2 minus -3, I get 2 plus 3, which is 5. 0 divided by anything is 0. So my slope is 0. So here's the issue. Whenever your slope is 0, you're going to have a y equals line. Because here's why we have a y equals line. If we look, the only things that are changing about these 2 points are my x values. I had a -3 and then I had a 2. But the one thing that was always consistent was that I always had a y value of a 3. So I can say my equation for this line is y equals 3. So I can basically plug in any value of x and I will always get a 3. If I ever ask you to find the slope and you just want to do a quick little thing, I know that the slope of this line is 0 because I can draw this. I can draw a z. And that just means 0 slope. Perfect. Let's go on to our next example, where we have a vertical line. So if I look at this example, vertical lines go up and down, so top to bottom of my page. And in this example, my points are -1, 3, and -1, -1. Let's find the slope of those 2 points now. So I have -1, 3, and -1, -1. So my slope formula, again, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If I look, my second y value is a -1. My first y value is a 3, so I'm going to take away a 3. My second x value is a -1. My first x value is a -1. So when I type this into my calculator, I get -1 minus 3, which is -4. -1 minus -1 is 0. And if you type that into your calculator, you get error, or undefined. So my slope for this function is undefined. So whenever I have an undefined slope, I'm going to have a x equals. So if I look at my coordinates, the one thing that's the same every single time is that my x value is always a -1. So I can say that the equation of this line is x equals -1. So I'm basically saying, regardless of whatever my y value is, I'm always going to have x equal to be -1. And whenever I have an undefined slope, I really have no slope. So if I want to just look at my visual, I can be like, okay, so I can make the letter n out of this. So no slope. And that's just a trick. And that's HOYVUX. So HOYVUX works as horizontal, has 0 slope, and it's always written as y equals HOYVUX. Vertical goes up, down. You're going to have an undefined slope. And it's going to be written as x equals. So if your x values are the same, it's x equals. If your y values are the same, it's y equals. Let's go over how to graph these on the next page. Y equals 2, x equals 3, y equals -4, x equals -2. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down HOYVUX. So HOYVUX. And in this case, I want to graph y equals 2. Well, I want to do the y equals. So y equals 2. So this is my y-axis. It's going to be horizontal. So I'm going to go through 2, just like this. That's y equals 2. And don't forget to name your line. Now I want to graph x equals -2. So I'm going to rewrite my trick. HOYVUX. It is x equals. So it's going to be vertical. And it's going to go through -2. Just like this. X equals -2. Now I want to graph x equals 3. So I rewrite HOYVUX. It's x equals. So it's going to be vertical, and it's going to go through 3. So my graph is going to look like this. And then last but not least, I have y equals -4. So I rewrite HOYVUX. I have a y equals, so it's horizontal. And it's going to go through -4. And that's your final answer. So if you have any questions, please email myself, Miss Townsend, or Miss Jimenez. You don't have a Delta Math assignment, you just have this edPuzzle. Have a great day, ladies.